Is this moment in NASCAR really a black flag or a red flag? NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600 gets a red flag after a big crash. Is this moment really a red flag or a black flag? How did several contenders pay for the crash in the race but also got eliminated at the restart crash? And how did Hamlin emerge victorious in this Coca-Cola 600? Let's get all your answers. Hello everyone. Welcome back to NASCAR Zone. In this video, we're going to talk about the worst red flag crash, which may be really a black flag even. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any of our amazing videos. And let's begin. In the NASCAR Cup Series Coca-Cola 600 that took place at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it appeared that Daniel Suarez had the car to beat. He was victorious in Stage 2 and led the race for a total of 36 laps. But in order to get back into contention, he had to overcome multiple slow pit stops and fight his way forward on a few occasions. However, on lap 346, both his Knight and Chris Buescher's came to an abrupt end in a spectacular fashion. Upon exiting Turn 4, the Chevrolet driven by Suarez became uncontrolled and skidded into the path of the Ford driven by Chase Briscoe. Suarez was knocked out of control and sent spinning down the front stretch after the Ford driven by Todd Gilliland was the initial vehicle to touch him. Just behind Buescher, Suarez moved aside in an attempt to avoid collision with Buescher. And as a result, the two drivers collided, sending Buescher's Ford careening across the front stretch turf. The right front suspension of Buescher's car broke off, and the tethers that were supposed to protect the wheel from flying off instead gripped the wheel and sent it under the car, which caused the car to barrel roll many times before finally coming to a halt on its roof. The race was promptly stopped and given the red flag by NASCAR. The safety crew was on the scene in less than 25 seconds, and by that time, Buescher had already detached the window net, signaling that he was okay. He said it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and he is going to be a little bit uncomfortable today, after it's been a very long time since the last time he was inverted. The performance of the group was outstanding, and they had excellent speed and a shot at winning this event. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. After the safety crew had carefully put the car back on its wheels, Buescher was able to get out of what remained of his machine. He stated, "I do appreciate them for helping me and setting it back over again. So thank you to everybody working for not slamming it back. It was a relief to finally be able to go outside. It seems as though some of your blood is going to your head. I suppose I could have yanked the belts and fell down to the ground, but I figured that rather than doing that, I'd just wait for them." Suarez's night ended as well. As he said, he simply got tight. When it comes to these vehicles, having clean air is quite critical. They were standing next to one another in front of him. He was doing great up front, but as soon as he got in the middle of the wake, things started to get really tight for me. He also said that he brought that unfortunate circumstance onto himself. Simply put, it was a challenging circumstance. If you find our video interesting, then do subscribe to our channel. He is simply thankful that Chris Buescher is fine. His group has been working on the construction of rockets. He had the most impressive vehicle in the area. On the pit road, he encountered a lot of difficulties. It wasn't his team, but the circumstance that he found in himself with Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. He said we have to grow as a result of this experience and come back even stronger. It is not only Chris Buescher who paid in the race, but also several contenders who got eliminated at the restart crash. After making contact with the apron in Turn 1, Ryan Blaney lost control of his vehicle on lap 192, which resulted in the incident. He went spinning back into the field, collecting a few vehicles along the way. A number of drivers, including Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, William Byron, and Noah Gragson, were involved in the chaos that ensued as a result of the accident. A number of drivers, including Byron, Blaney, Keselowski, Busch, and Wallace, were unable to continue with the race. There was complete chaos all around. Byron stated that he had the impression that we were in a commanding position there. His team was the first person to put new tires on our vehicle. They were on track to cycle out fairly well there, but then they started wrecking on the bottom, and those of us who were on top were eliminated. You all must be thinking how that feels. Well, that really just sucks. It was complete chaos out there. We were not allowed to operate the vehicle. Any deviation, no matter how little, will result in disaster. So somebody loses control somewhere, and as a result, the whole thing goes down. Either it eliminates other players or it forces them to retreat to the infield. It seemed only disorder there. What did you think of this situation? Let me know in the comments. After being discharged from the infield care center, Blaney detailed what occurred after he returned home. He was completely tucked up tight behind the Reddick, and he was kind of lower than then imagined on the front stretch. He kind of raced through the turf, and then got to turn 1, he pulled right. Because he was afraid that he was going to hit the apron, he didn't have enough time to get right, so he just kind of struck the apron, which caused him to fall and free himself. He can't believe the damage done to the other vehicles. If you find our video interesting, then do subscribe to our channel. Blaney continued by saying, spatially, he simply didn't really know where he was at, and he made a mistake. During the early stages of the race, both of the 2311 Racing Toyotas were quite competitive. Nevertheless, they were eliminated as a result of the incident. Buescher stated that they did have a winning Monster Energy Toyota Camry TRD that finished in the top 5. He was just crossing his fingers that they would have enough tires to make it to the finish line and the sequences that everyone was on. The crew chief, Billy Scott, is an outstanding commander. This year, they were just at the wrong place at the wrong moment, which contributed to the large number of car accidents that drivers made. Buescher made every effort to avoid hitting Bubba Wallace, who was in front of him, but he believed that he was struck somewhere around 15 distinct things. And when he was trying to give it some more gas, he realized that she was already finished. This was a pretty difficult circumstance that arose back then. A quick car, and he can't express how proud he was of my teammates. What do you think about the other contenders who got eliminated at the restart crash? Let me know in the comments below. Let's see how Hamlin emerged victorious in the caution-filled Coca-Cola 600. Denny Hamlin started the race from the pole position and went on to win the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Yet the beginning of the race and the finish of the race on Sunday were the only times when it appeared that he had a car that might win. The 619.5-mile marathon that Hamlin won was the longest race in the history of NASCAR in terms of mileage thanks to 2 overtime restarts. Hamlin won the race by trading the lead with Kyle Busch in the final 2 laps of the race. Hamlin won the NASCAR 600 for the first time in his career, which is considered to be one of the most prestigious races in the series. This was a race of attrition, as there were 18 flags that lasted for 90 of the 413 laps. Hamlin admitted that during the day his team did not perform very well. He just happened to be in the right position at the right moment. What do you think about this crash? If the precautions were taken, would this crash have happened? Let me know in the comments. And that's for today's video. We sincerely hope you enjoy the video. If so, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. You can also watch our other videos that have been specially selected for you. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.